Friends, welcome to Advent 2. So we read from Luke, chapter 1 from verse 26. In the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent by God to a town in Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin engaged to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary. And he came to her and said, "Greetings, favored one. The Lord is with you." But she was perplexed by his words and pondered what sort of greeting this might be. The angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. And now you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you will name him Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High." We will end there for today. It is quite interesting that the angel would say to Mary, "Greetings, O you favored one." That I don't think at this particular time Mary felt favored at all. Maybe we need to think through what it means for us to be in Advent anticipating the birth of Jesus, historically, and what it will mean now and for the future. But for Mary, perhaps when we see the image of mother and baby, those that have done the artwork always give us an old-looking Mary, a real mother. We are talking about a small little girl. I'm deliberately doing that. Small little girl. Aged anywhere between 15, 16, or 17. Who is engaged? Favored one? No, you're just about to ruin my marriage. I'm about to get married, and you come with this news. So I want us to think through how this pregnancy that's being announced disturbs Mary's life. It unsettles those around her and literally unsettles the world as we know it up until today. And so if we are thinking about the unsettling of the world, I want us again to imagine, as we discuss today, how Advent comes and tears into what we think is the norm and brings something brand new. Not necessarily what we like or how we like it, but as and when God says, this is the time and this is how I choose to do it. So it might not sound so pleasant when that moment arrives, when you receive the greeting that says, "You are the favored one." Perhaps where you find yourself in this Advent, you don't particularly feel favored. I want to appeal to the women listening to this. Imagine your first pregnancy. If you're fortunate to have planned it, maybe you imagine it differently. But I want to think of all the women who literally just discovered they were pregnant and they weren't ready for it. I want to think of all the teenage mothers, pregnant, don't know how to tell mom, don't know how to tell dad. Or the teenage mother who's living with a kid, and how am I going to tell my grandmother? Mom and dad are no longer there. They're in matric, just before they write, and they're pregnant. Perhaps imagining like this helps us see what Mary went through, because we glorify this period without breaking it down to what it actually means in our everyday life. So we need to look at this through the eyes of Mary. This is teenage pregnancy. It's scandal. the birth of Jesus, the idea of the Advent, is scandalous. We celebrate it now because we've commercialized it. We go shopping, we give each other gifts, the malls are full. Bonnie M is playing everywhere. There was no Bonnie M for Mary. What does this mean? How am I going to handle it? Who do I tell first? I have let down everyone. You need to see the lineage of Mary to see why this was scandalous. She's coming from a holy family. This is a holy family, and Mary is going to be that little one who messed it all up for everyone. You took away the dignity of the family. As a teenage girl, you needed to look after yourself. Perhaps this Advent we need to think about those whose lives were turned upside down by scandal and think that this Advent speaks to them as well. They are not excluded. Perhaps, because I don't know the mind of God, perhaps God chose this scandalous way to remind those that find themselves on the brink, on the margins, feeling I don't belong, for God to say, even through scandal, I still am God and I'll bring hope. So today, talk about those days. Even for the guys, for the men, think about that day when someone walked up to you and said, I'm pregnant. Especially if you weren't married. What happened? The butterflies? Or maybe it was not butterflies, it was geese in your stomach. Whatever it was, process that and work through this time. Thank you.